Something historic happened with Cooper Flagg this season, because rookies don't score like this. In fact, the last time we saw a scoring run like this from a rookie was Wilt Chamberlain.
Flagg with a head of steam all the way, hangs it. Point range as Flagg throws it down. Cooper Flagg.
To put in perspective how crazy this really is, the last time we saw a rookie scoring like this, Hawaii and Alaska weren't even a state for a full year. Yeah, Cooper Flagg has been that good. And that's the thing that's so interesting, because coming into the NBA, we knew Cooper Flagg was going to be good. I mean, he dominated in high school. It carried over into college, and he was the clear #1 pick, knowing he would probably be a star in the league in a few years. But that was the time set. A couple years down the line, maybe running the league if everything worked out. But nobody expected this. This being 50-point games and absurd scoring stats. Recently, Flagg has put together scoring stretches that rookies simply don't have. Heck, most players in general don't come close to the numbers Flagg have been putting up. On par with one of the greatest players of all time is no small feat. But to really put into context how absurd this really is, you have to go back to just a few months ago, because Cooper Flagg looked like a completely different basketball player. Now that the season's over, we can fully contextualize the season that Cooper Flagg had, from start to finish, the good and the bad. When the Mavericks drafted Cooper Flagg first overall, the expectation wasn't that he would come in and dominate offensively, carrying the offensive workload as a ball handler. His reputation coming into the league was built on good scoring, defense, versatility, and basketball IQ. He could guard multiple positions, block shots, make winning plays, score at all three levels, but that playmaking was something we really hadn't seen too much of, especially at a high level. So it came as a shock when Dallas experimented with something very interesting. Head coach Jason Kidd started Cooper Flagg at point guard, not the traditional position that Flagg has played his entire career. And in theory, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. Yes, he has good passing skills, and he sees the floor pretty well. But for a rookie, who may lack some judgment and the speed of the game, it may be a rough adjustment. And that was the reality. The speed in the NBA is just simply different. Defenses are smarter, they play harder, they're faster, more physical, and suddenly the game looked a lot harder than it did in college. His efficiency dipped, the offense looked clunky at times, and for a moment, it felt like Cooper Flagg might need a year or two to figure things out, because he was struggling, turning the ball over, making bad plays, missing shots. But a little bit into the season, something changed. A flip switched. Almost like everything clicked for Cooper Flagg. Instead of continuing to force Flagg to run the offense, Dallas simplified his role a little bit. They moved him off the ball, let him attack, and let him play more freely. But honestly, throwing him into the fire might have been the best thing for him. Because although he had his hardships early, you can tell his mindset changed. And he started reading defenses better and being able to handle pressure that is usually an issue for most rookies. And almost overnight, everything clicked. The game started to slow down for Cooper. His confidence grew, and suddenly the player that looked like he might take some time to develop started looking completely comfortable in the best league in the world. And it wasn't just comfortable. He looked dominant. And well, yes, everybody expects rookies to struggle and come in and have their tough times. But nobody expected it to figure out the NBA as fast as Cooper did. Because in a matter of months, he looked like a completely different player. That rate of development is just something you don't see from every player. Just look what he does here against the Defensive Player of the Year. We've seen how Wemby disrupts ball handlers in this pick and roll. They just force the pass to the outside and reset their offense. Not Coop. He probes in, makes Wemby think he's going to the rim, and then throws his teammate open with a lob. This type of understanding and how to manipulate defenders in the pick and roll is something very veteran players in the league know, not rookies. But it wasn't just his playmaking that developed in the league, oh no. This is where the scoring explosion started to happen.
See it coming towards this guy. And doing work right now. Cooper. 5 on the 24, drives inside, left-handed layup is good. Cooper's cooking here in the fourth quarter. There you go, turning toss for two.
40-point games, 45-point games, and then historic performances. It all started on November 29th, when Coop dropped 35 points against none other than the Los Angeles Clippers. On paper, it was just another high-scoring game, but in reality, it was history in the making. At just 18 years old, a kid who reclassed, he should be in college right now, Flagg became the youngest player in NBA history to score 35 or more in a single game. And from that moment on, the league knew this rookie wasn't just talented, he was a phenomenon. Then you fast forward to December 15th. Flagg wasn't slowing down. Facing the Jazz, he exploded for 42 points in an overtime battle, showing not only scoring volume, but also poise under pressure. He followed that with 36 versus the Celtics and 32 versus the Spurs in early February, stringing together multiple 30-point games as a teenager. And then finally, on April 3rd, it happened. Cooper Flagg erupted for 51 points, becoming the first ever teenager to score 50 or more in an NBA game. A teenager against the world's best and just dominate. Most NBA players go their entire career without ever touching 50 points. Cooper did it in his rookie year. Every shot he took, every move he made, screamed maturity beyond his years. It wasn't just a scoring night, it was a true statement to the rest of the league that Cooper Flagg had finally arrived, and the league would never look at the rookie scoring the same way again. Just last week, Flagg dropped 45 against the Los Angeles Lakers, putting together one of the most impressive games by a rookie this season against a team led by none other than LeBron James, a 41-year-old oldest player to ever play against the youngest player to ever score 50, and that game caught the attention of everyone, including Bron himself. After the game, LeBron praised Flagg's talent, versatility, and basketball IQ, saying the young star is going to have a, quote, amazing career. When a player like LeBron James, the literal GOAT, tells something like that, people listen, because LeBron has seen everything in the league, and even he looked impressed. But the 45-point performance wasn't even the peak. It wasn't even close. Because Flagg followed that up with an even more ridiculous scoring run. Over a 2-game stretch, he scored 96 total points, averaging nearly 50 a game, not just a one-off thing, but averaging it over a 2-game span as a rookie. And then when you start digging into the history books, that's where things get even crazier. Scoring runs like this from a first-year player are almost non-existent. To find anything similar, you have to go back to the rookie season of Wilt Chamberlain. Mind you, that was 1959-1960 season. Quite a long time ago. One of the most dominant players the sport has ever seen in Wilt Chamberlain. And now, an 18-year-old Cooper Flagg who just turned 19 is in the same statistical categories. That's a good place to be. But the scoring is probably the most impressive part of Flagg's rookie season, but it might not be the most impactful. When you look at the all-time greats like LeBron, like Luka, these offensive juggernauts that can just do anything and dominate, it's how comfortable he looks. Most rookies look, well, like rookies. They make mistakes, they force shots, they struggle with consistency. But Flagg doesn't look like that. He plays with patience, he reads defenses, he picks his spots like a veteran, and there are moments watching him this season where it honestly feels like you're watching someone who's already been in the league for 5 years and knows what to expect. And that's the kind of development that usually takes a ton of time, a lot of time. But somehow, Cooper Flagg has almost figured it out immediately. Before the season even ended, you could tell how much more comfortable he was than at the start. And this is where the story gets even more interesting, because Dallas might have just hit the jackpot. We're entering a strange era. After the departure of Luka Doncic, the franchise was facing serious questions about its future. Was it going into a rebuild? Was there going to enter a long stretch of mediocrity? Or would somehow they find their next superstar? Well, whether it was by luck or design, they might have already found him. Thanks, Nico. Because the way Cooper Flagg is playing right now, he doesn't look like a player developing into a star. He looks like he already is one. And it brings us to the Rookie of the Year race. Earlier in the season, the award felt wide open. There are multiple rookies playing well, especially Con Knippel, the Duke teammate of Cooper Flagg. But As I said, when he started going on this scoring explosion, it kind of separated himself from the pack. Historic scoring nights, huge performances on national stages, and the momentum seems to be building every week. And now that the season's over, I would be shocked if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year. So the race might not even be close. And then you look at the scariest part of this all. Cooper Flagg is just a rookie. And it might just be the beginning. Because remember, he wasn't supposed to be this good yet. Most players take years to adjust, and although most people did predict he was going to be a great player in the league, they slowly improve. They adapt season by season. But it seems like in 1 year, he's already become a star, and he's skipping that process of development entirely. And if this is what his rookie season looks like, imagine what the next few years might look like.